His Excellency Macky Sall, President of Republic of Senegal and incoming Chairperson of African Union, His Excellency Félix Tshisekedi, President of Democratic Republic of Congo and Chairperson of African Union, His Excellency Moussa Faki Mohamed, Chairperson of African Union Commission, Honorable Heads of States and Governments, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. May I begin by expressing my sincere appreciation to the African Union and the government of Ethiopia in making this 35th ordinary session possible, despite continued uncertainty caused by the pandemic and the risks absorbed. I also extended my gratitude for receiving my delegation and I in a manner uniquely consistent with African hospitality. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to welcome the Peace and Security Council report submitted by the Peace and Security Council to the Assembly of the Union, in the context whereby the threats of terrorism and violent extremism has transcended borders at an alarming pace in our continent, exacerbated further by ungoverned spaces and uncoordinated responses collectively. Somalia has been a victim of terrorism and violent extremism for over a decade. Yet, in this time frame, Somalia has developed significant experience through a lesson learned in degrading terrorist groups such as Al-Shabaab's operational capabilities in recent years, and with record low-level attacks recorded across Somalia. Al-Shabaab's squeeze in Somalia has had a ballooning effect to the rest of Africa. They have become more sophisticated, have established a complex financial network across the continent, and Al-Shabaab has registered ambitions to collaborate with other terrorist groups in Africa, including providing financing and to train them and to set up bases. Excellencies, as we have repeatedly warned, the threat of Al-Shabaab is not only a limited problem for Somalia alone, but an issue for Africa. The Peace and Security Council report must comprehensively cover the elements of Al-Shabaab across Africa in order to coherently mobilize, strategize, and coordinate comprehensively to counter the threat of terrorism and violent extremism. Excellencies, our pace of progress in delivering security and stability in Somalia in recent years, with support from our African brothers and sisters, whom I pay tribute to for their sacrifices and selflessness, has meant that Somalia has succeeded to build up its capacity to assume full security responsibility independently by December 2023. As the mandate of African Union mission in Somalia is set to end in March 2022, the federal government of Somalia and the African Union in January 2022 reached a decisive agreement on the parameters and strategic objectives, including but not limited to the expected mandate, the strategic end state, and exit strategy in line with the Somali-owned and Somali-led transition plan. The federal government of Somalia, jointly with the Political Affairs, Peace and Security Department of African Union, agreed on the 21st January that the new mission shall be called African Union Transition Mission in Somalia, ATMIS. Somalia with African Union shall present the documents of the new African Union Transition Mission in Somalia to the Peace and Security Council by the end of this month. In this regard, Excellencies, I welcome the communiqué adopted by the Peace and Security Council of African Union 1051's meeting in November. In this regard, Excellencies, I welcome the communiqué adopted by the Peace and Security Council of African Union's 1051 meeting in November, calling for the establishment of climate change fund and strengthening of capacities of African Union and its member states. Thank you for your attention.